Alright, so the 2025 Oscars just happened, and to nobody's surprise, it was a complete disaster. If you go on YouTube right now, a lot of people discussing the ceremony are gonna be like, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. But frankly, I'm not interested in receiving feedback or getting a take from a guy whose bar for this show is on the floor. I don't care if you were pleasantly surprised. That just means that you were prepared for complete dog shit and got like only a little bit of dog shit. So I'm gonna just do a no holds barred and just give you my take on this entire show. First of all, the host this year was Conan O'Brien, who is a late night show host, and I kind of like him. He's actually funny, and he's certainly a step up from Jimmy Please Clap Kimmel, but even he couldn't save this train wreck. You know, they let him take some jabs at the nominees, which was nice, but you could tell that he was holding back because in the back of his head, he knows if he says anything too mean, he's never invited back. He's not part of the problem. I'm just painting the picture for those of you who didn't waste 3 hours of your life watching this.
You know, Anora is having a good night. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great news. 2 wins already. I guess Americans are excited to see somebody finally stand up to a powerful Russian.
Last time I talked about the Oscars, we spoke about how Emilia Perez received 13 Oscars nominations. Now, out of the 13 nominations, they only received 2 awards. I say only as if 2 is somehow okay. 2 is way too many for a movie that was a complete dumpster fire, but I guess the ratio of nominations to awards given for a film like that is okay. The 2 wins that it got were for Best Supporting Actress and Best Original Song. Both the music and supporting actress in this film will be forgotten in a month's time. This movie's legacy will be that it was hated almost as much as Snow White, and it is literally just terrible. The literal acting performance for the winner was not bad at all, but the movie was so terrible that you can't help but feel that giving anybody tied to this movie an award is a huge mistake. Now, for the Best Music Award, I think them winning just shows that nobody is competing for this one. If you want an Oscar, just make a movie where you're singing for 2 hours, and there you go. I think the last time I seen a movie win that award that actually deserved it was with La La Land in the Oscars for 2017, but the difference is that La La Land was incredible and Emilia Perez was one of the worst movies I've ever watched. Now, the movie that swept the ceremony was a movie called Anora, which won 6 different Academy Awards. For those who haven't seen it, this movie is about a girl from Brooklyn who's a stripper and gets to marry the son of a Russian oligarch, and the parents are not a big fan, and they try to annul the marriage. Now, it's not a bad movie, but the lead actress for this won Best Actress, and halfway through her acceptance speech, she's like, well, I want to dedicate this award to the sex worker community. You guys are so meaningful to me and stuff. And the whole movie is about her getting spoiled by this Russian oligarch who has infinity money from his dad.
I also just want to again recognize and honor the sex worker community. I will continue to support and be an ally. All of the incredible people, the women that I've had the privilege of meeting from that community has been one of the highlights of this entire incredible experience.
It's like, okay, we're gonna shout out the strippers and the sex workers, but we're not gonna give shout out to the simps and the degens, the guys who want to get stepped on for money. Come on now, let's get serious. They're the ones who make this shit happen. This movie is also the definition of Oscar bait. It is Oscar progressive, which is a very specific kind of progressive, the kind that Hollywood loves to pat itself on the back for without actually pushing any boundaries. It's got the strong female lead, it's a woman about overcoming hardship, it's got the social commentary about economic struggles and the American dream and fucking whatever. It's independent and it's artistic. It's not like a studio blockbuster, and it's supposed to get extra points for not being mainstream. So at the end of the day, while good movies should receive awards, even if the movie is good, it has to follow a certain criteria in order to be given awards. When's the last time that a high energy fun movie won any awards? It always has to be some deep thing that makes you think and has to be very emotional to the viewers and stuff in order for the voters to give it any chance. It's also very ironic because of what's been happening in real life with the actors strikes and boycotting against Hollywood and the movie industry. The Oscars love to act woke once a year, but then they go right back to ignoring actual problems with the industry and recycling the same 10 directors. So a movie like this probably looks progressive on the surface because of the themes, but it's the kind of movie that only wins awards because it makes rich voters feel good about themselves while they keep giving superhero franchises all their real money. And the individual actors and actresses receiving these awards are not to blame at all. They don't really bear any responsibility for that. But the people singing their praises by giving them these awards are actually the problem. And I do feel like in some way, it's sort of a vicious cycle. Actors and actresses turning a blind eye to a lot of the corruption that takes place in exchange for getting the awards from the people that cause the corruption. And while we're on the topic of the broader industry, I guess I'll just say that the show itself is experiencing a gradual yet steady decline in viewership year to year. And this makes perfect sense. The interest in the Oscars as a format has never been lower. I think watching rich people pat other rich people on the back and essentially decorate their friends in the industry with awards is getting old. But I think if the Oscars was just getting older and older and the interest in it was growing less and less over the years, we could have just laid it down peacefully to rest. But I think specifically the messaging of the Oscars is at direct odds of what people are interested in, that being transparency and authenticity, which we've seen it be the exact opposite of. I'm also experiencing this weird phenomenon where I can't name a single person at the Oscars anymore. I feel like back when I was younger, at any time I'd see this come on, like late at night after school and my parents would watch it, I would actually recognize some of the faces in the crowd from movies I had seen. But now it just seems like a lot of these actors and actresses, they're just being mass produced and I don't know who they are. And it's a weird thing, it's a weird feeling to have where this is supposed to be a celebration of like the highest quality cinema that society has to offer with some faces of people that we're probably going to recognize, yet I don't know the movies and I don't know the people behind the movies. Most of the people I recognize are from older movies or from something completely different. Like Conan is from Late Night, Ariana Grande is a pop singer, and then I would see like Jesse Eisenberg in the crowd from like, The Social Network, an older film. And this pisses me off to such an extreme level because not only are these people at the Oscars, so they're part of this, ultra elite class of humans, these are the architects of modern propaganda that are dressed up to give each other trophies that they're gonna just put up in their multi-million-dollar mansions. And so everybody in that room I'm already sort of skeptical of from a Diddy's disciples perspective. But then I sit there, the camera pans to the audience, I'm scratching my head, I'm like, who the fuck are these people? If there's a group of people that I know that are putting the strawberries and blueberries into the blender of propaganda to make a smoothie, although you can do nothing about it, you at least know who's doing it. You understand? It's kind of like, imagine we just didn't know who the president was. Even if they're doing the same thing as Trump, it feels worse not knowing who it is. Like, the fuck, there's a shadow president? So when I see these marionettes in the crowd, these pigeons, okay, they're not people to me. And it's like, oh, I'm just supposed to smile at the fact that I don't even know my own masters? Because that's essentially what it is. Like, imagine you're a slave and you don't even know your master. Like, boys, if we're doing an award show for the minions of the New World Order, I'd at least like to see some familiar faces. Or let me just put it like this. When there's the orgy after the Oscars, I at least want to know who has their finger in Jesse Eisenberg's ass. Like, I look at the audience and it's a bunch of nobodies. I don't even know these people now. It's like an NPC farm. Now, originally, this was going to be the part of the video where I gave them credit where it's due, but upon further consideration, I don't even think the credit where it's due is worth it, because if you look at the Oscars as just a slot of time that you're going to use to dedicate to like just leisure and programming, among the fact that there are billions of options, literally billions of videos and content that you could use instead of this ceremony, it's a no-brainer. Because it's like, okay, so what if they gave Dune 2 some awards? They gave a little bit of flowers to a movie that deserved it. Okay, now what? So what? I don't care. This is time of my day where I watch them do the bare minimum. I don't want to do that anymore. This isn't like 4th grade where everybody gets a gold star. How about instead I just watch any YouTube video or any, I could scroll Instagram Reels for that same amount of time and feel probably more satisfied. Like, at least I have a few things to send to my friends, a few memes that you gotta triple check who you're sending them to. If you send it to the wrong guy and he opens it and now he's fired, like, that's a better use of your time.